everybody, Jeri Bellini here from My Arts and Parts in my year 2017, and today is my second video for the my year 2017 July prompt, Loved Ones. I am making a memory book using my mother's random bits and pieces of paper that she had around her house. She passed away in 2015, and my mother was notorious for writing on little bits of paper, and just they were like all over the place. She was 98 when she died, and she got a little forgetful, not too bad, but she found it very helpful to have little notes all around the house. So I saved those notes when she died, when I was cleaning up her things, because to me they meant so much. They're very precious to me. So I have like 3 boxes of them. She also would write letters and just stories. She loved to tell stories. She did little artwork here and there, and this one says, "Promise you won't forget me even when I'm 100." And she always signed her work. She used to photocopy her things and use them. She'd make little thank you cards and note cards and stuff like that. So I have a box full of her photocopies, full of her originals. Again, she did stories. This was the one I did in the last segment, Treasures of the Heart. And she just wrote a list of the things that were very meaningful to her. Henny's. That was a candy store, an ice cream store down at, grew up down at Breezy Point, New York. And my mom lived there most of her life. So there was this candy store down there. Anyway, I'll digress. I'm going to get very sentimental when I'm working on this book, I know, because I'm seeing my mother's beautiful handwriting and her thoughts. And I do miss her terribly. Anyway, I think it'll be really nice to have everything in a book. And excuse me, I didn't mean to say everything, because I've got 3 boxes of this stuff. So I'm just going to randomly go through and pick out some things that I'm going to use. And in some cases, I will use the original. Some cases I won't. So that being said, this is what I decided to use for my pages. All right, I'm back, and I'm going to keep this really simple because I'll be honest with you. I'm having this tendency to stop and read all the things, and it's going to take me forever. So I'm going to just keep it really simple. And I went through some of her things. This was a letter my mom wrote to her children. I found it. She had photocopied it. I'm just going to digress for a second. I don't know if you can see that there's like a seal or something on this paper. My uncle, her brother, used to send, he was a printer, and he would send her boxes of paper, leftover pieces of paper from his print jobs, and a lot of them had these different marks on them. Yeah, they used really good paper back then. Anyway, when I see that, I think of my mom, I think of my uncle. And yeah, these memory books, I think they're awesome. So, all right, so this is what I just did. I kind of went through and I just paper clipped, and of course this isn't finished, just to get something on the paper. I am going to use, because I like that vintage recycled look, I'm going to use bits and pieces of, you know, paper bags or whatever. Hi everybody, popped back on to show you what I've done thus far. I've been working on this project for most of the morning, and I know I'm not going to finish it today. So I wanted to just come on and talk to you for a couple minutes, and the next thing I'm going to do is prepare the cover. I think this is going to be an ongoing project. And because of the way I'm going to make it, I can have it as thick or as thin as I want. But I think the thing to do if you're considering doing a project like this, get your pages ready, like I showed you in the last segment. Just decide what kind of paper you're going to use. And this is cardstock, and you might be able to see it's bending a little bit. I don't have a problem with that. I love that. I consider it texture and character. And so I'm using predominantly cardstock, some wallpaper, some paper bags, that kind of thing. So right here in this pile are a few pages that are not finished, but that are at least started, and they have gotten my creative juices flowing. My pages are not all the same size. They're all the same height. They're 11 inches, 11 inches, I think. Yeah, it's a regular 8.5 by 11. Yeah, 11 inches tall. But the width is different just because I thought it would be interesting, and I was going to put some tip-ins and whatnot in there. So I decided to use some of my handmade papers, meaning my jelly prints, my coffee dyed, and so on. So I'm just going to quickly flip through this and talk about, some of the things I might have done on each page. And keeping it simple. I really want to just get my mom's stuff in here. And as I said, you can kind of go back. And I started doing one page. I could stay on one page for an hour. I just put a little bit of deli paper back here, and then I outlined it with, what do you call those things? Jelly pens. Oh my gosh, jelly pens. And I am working on the top side first in most cases. And I work on a page and then I set it aside, and then I work on another page and set it aside. So I'm giving the pages time to dry and just, keep going. So this was the page with my mom's Treasures of the Heart, and I'm going to do a lot more on here. But I realized that there was words she wrote on the back too, more things that were precious to her. So I wanted to do it as a tip-in, and this was a little thing she sketched, and I thought that's perfect. You open that up and a nice little surprise. This is some book text that I just used acrylic paint on, and this is a piece of cardstock as well. And I just took I like things kind of grungy looking, so I took an Inktense pencil and I just got some wet, color and just smeared it on there and outlined with the gel pen. And there's just a little piece of brown paper bag there that's coffee dyed. This isn't finished either. None of these pages are finished. This is a little poem that my mother loved. She lived in a very tiny house, a carriage house on my property, and she loved this poem. Let me live in a house by the side of the road. There's a little alleyway that goes right by her house, and she just loved. She told me she had a dream when she was younger that in her dream she lived in a little house by the side of the road. So this poem was very meaningful to her, and obviously she printed it out. So I wanted to use it. I want to go through my photographs and get a photograph of her little house and put it up here. She was a twin, and she actually drew this. This is her artwork, and so this is her and her sister. So I'm going to do more on here, but so far that's what it is. And you can see how these pages will just continue to grow. This is the pattern of the scarf that she loved making, and I tipped it in just because it was such a big piece of paper, and I think I'll put something in here. Maybe I'll find some pictures of the scarves that she's made and put it inside. And this was the poem I told you about before, and I just put a little brown paper bag back there, and I would like to get a picture of her and put it up there. So as I was working on it, my mind was just going with ideas. She loved to do catalog shopping. I took her out a lot, but you know, when she wanted something, she wanted it now. So she would buy it in a catalog. And Miles Kimball was one of her favorites. And she also, she loved Harriet Carter. And there's a whole bunch of other catalogs. And I am going to, you know, list them here. So that, I thought that page was kind of cool, and I covered up the address. So that Cipro thing is just a post-it. And then this was a poem that she wrote about me. And it's not really a poem, it's a story. And so I want to find some kind of a photograph to put up here, maybe of myself. And I have tons more pages waiting to be made, but as I said, I think now this is going to be a work in progress. Here's my other pages, and I think I'm going to stop this video now and do another video, a third one for you, and show you how I'm going to make the cover, because I think, you know, that might interest you on how to make a cover for a book like this. You can make a book like this, you can make it any size. You can make a really tiny one and just put small, you know, small cards in there. You can make quotes or whatever. And that's it. Okay, I'm going to stop blabbing. And I hope you have a blessed day full of love and art. And I hope you enjoyed my project so far. I will, you know, come on from time to time and show you the progress. But this, you know, if you saw the 3 boxes of stuff, this is going to be a forever long project. And I think I'm going to just work on it a little bit, you know, every week. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think it's time. So thank you so much for watching, and look forward to the next segment where I show you how to make the cover. Bye, guys.